Welcome everybody. And this is the official launch of our Thursday night chat with me. At least I know Lucy did it last week. And as always, I do want to thank everybody for chiming in, watching. And afterward, we're going to have some question and answer. Those of you watching at home, thank you for watching this recorded the version of it. Obviously, you won't be able to ask questions, but here we go. If you have a body, you are an athlete. So many people don't think of themselves as an athlete. I ask, are you an athlete? And they say, no, not really. I say, well, you're about to do a marathon. You're an athlete. Bill Bowerman, former head coach of University of Oregon, famous coach, said that quote. And I think it's a good place to kick off our coach chat weeks. This is me, really briefly, in case you want to know. And this is the book I co-wrote, one of those complete idiots guide books, like the dummies guidebooks to marathon training. And at any rate, Lucy suggested we start with how do you pick a training plan? And then eventually I'm going to get into more and more the nuts and bolts of the science that we're dealing with. But just so you know, really quickly, as best as I can, each level has 5% more high intensity training than the level previous. So, in other words, level one has 5% only, mostly just threshold work, that's it. Um, of the high intensity work, we're talking about threshold, interval, and repetition, which would be called T pace, I pace, and R pace, because we couldn't fit threshold, interval, and repetition on those little squares on your schedule online. Or if you want, I can send you my version. So level one is 5%, level two, 10%, level three, 15, level four, 20, and level five is actually goes back down to 15%, but because it's so much more volume, that 15% is actually in level five more than the high intensity in level four. The volume, the time is more than level four. We do have a level six schedule, which is for groups. The 3 hour group we call group zero, and the 310 group we call 1A, and sort of kind of we give the option to 1B. That's our 320 group, those who want to speed up. But here's the key to all of this. Yeah, I had a 72-year-old woman years ago who we knew was going to win her age group if we just got her to the starting line without an injury. And she was always getting injured, and she was always doing too much, and she was always doing too much high intensity along with everything else. And I said to her, I said, look, if we just get you to the starting line, you're going to win your age group. And I gave her a schedule, not this one, but her own schedule. I could probably create a schedule for every one of our 800, 1,000 people. We're expecting about 1,000 people this year sign up. Um, at any rate, and if I just want to give you 5% high intensity, no more. We'll get you the starting line uninjured. You'll win your age group. Blammo, you may not have a lifetime PR, but you're going to do great. So, year after year after year, she never listened to me. Finally, she listened to me. She did the 5% schedule. That's level one. But this is an extremely experienced marathoner, 72 years old then. And she was set to win her age group. This is not a beginner by any stretch of the imagination. And I know level one says beginners, but there are caveats to this where some of you may want to do a schedule with less high intensity than more high intensity than that what, each of our groups has a schedule, sort of a level of a schedule earmarked to that group. And I've sent most of them, not all. I still haven't sent out some of the level one and level two schedules, but I've sent out most of the group pace leaders their own group's schedule. But don't feel you can always get my version of their schedule just by asking them or asking me via email. It's really easy. Just copy paste. You're done. You got it. But if you do want to get faster, you do need to run fast or run walk fast or walk fast. I remember Pat, one of our pace leaders, our walking pace leader for, I believe it's a 6:45, 6:30, something like that. Anyway, she was the absolute back of the pack, and we started getting her to do speed work at Santa Monica High Track, which you are all invited to do Wednesday night, 6:30, Santa Monica High School. I am there. Also, you're going to meet, I think this week, in Balboa Park, Coach Pat Connolly for a small fee each month. He has a track workout at Birmingham High School that anyone out in the valley at Balboa is welcome to just show up for free and check it out once or twice. And if you like it, pay, you know. Um, but you do need that speed work. And if you choose a schedule that has a little more high intensity on it, it will help you get faster. Got it? That's the moral of the story. So level one is not just for walkers and beginners, as you can see. If you're a 20-year-old that's generating a lot of human growth hormone, a lot of other hormones, testosterone for motivation, all that stuff, I don't care if you're a man or a woman, we all have at least a little, even women, a little bit of testosterone for motivation. Um, you may do well to pick a level higher schedule, a harder schedule, higher percentage or volume of high intensity work to get you faster, especially if you're a little more experienced. Um, on the other hand, don't pick a harder schedule if you're starting to get sore and breaking down and you have aches and pains. Go back to level one schedule, maybe. Fix those aches and pains, strength, train, stretch, all that stuff. Come to me, come to one of our physical therapists, and figure it out, and then jump to a higher level during a taper week. So that's really a nuts and bolts of our schedule. I will definitely answer questions on that when I'm done with the whole spiel. I'm going to try and get through all of it really as quick as I can. Pacing. How the heck do you figure out what your pace is? Well, I use this program called VDOT. Wait a minute. Here it is. It's right here. I don't know if you can see it. Whoop, you probably can't. Right there, that green V dot on any app store. It's called VDOT, VDOT calculator. Go to any app store and you can get it for absolutely free, and you'll know everything that I know. Is it perfect? Not even close. But it'll give you an idea in the ballpark, sort of. And each one of these levels, if you use the VDOT calculator, and I'll explain that in a second, you may find that different levels of pace for you, what you're looking at, these words here. Different ones are a little faster or a little slower than what you might find in that VDOT app. No question, it is not perfect, but it's sort of, like I said, gives you a variable to work with. The other thing you could do is you could spend I know there are different places. I know one of Santa Monica, phase 4, you can get blood lactate testing. Other places do VO2 max testing. You might have seen pictures of people with the mask on, running on a treadmill, breathing really hard, going faster and faster. Those will give you your exact scientific paces, blood lactate or VO2 max testing, but you're going to be paying like 200, 250 on a discount. I know we have a coach that does blood lactate testing for, I want to say it's like 150 with a discount that we got. Oh, I can't even think of his name all of a sudden and I like him a lot. Um, I'll think of it. At any rate, easy pace is just as it sounds. It's your zone 2, if you know zones 1 through 5. Easy pace is zone 2, 60, 65%, somewhere around there of your maximum ability. You'll hear terms like of your VO2 max. That's not it. It's more of your maximum ability. MRP on your schedule. The words to the left are the words on your schedule. MRP stands for marathon race pace, about 65, 70% of your max. HMRP, half MRP or half marathon race pace, 70, 75%. T pace, now we're talking threshold. Now we're talking about a little higher. And I may have this wrong actually, but yeah, about 75, 80, 85% depending. Um, Threshold pace would be like a mile to 6 miles. I have down here by metric. 1,600 meters is about a mile. Very close to it. 10K, 6.2 miles, you know. That would be threshold, is the ability to run hard out, 10K pace, you know, for whatever it is, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. Interval would be about half marathon, which is 800 meters to 1,600 meters, half mile to a mile. Again, 80, 85% or so, maybe a little higher, depending. Repetition pace. Um, you know, usually that's the 2 minute. By the way, it's 2 minutes on your schedule, not 2 hours. If you see our pace, it's not 2 hours, it's 2 minutes. Um, just remember that. If someone tells you to run our pace for 2 hours, that's not humanly possible. By definition, it's not humanly possible. You can't do that because if you're doing all out for 200 meters, 800 meters, half a mile, whatever, you can't go a couple miles at our pace. That's by definition, you can only go half a mile because you're going all out for half a mile, if that makes sense. Anyway, I get that question all the time. If you're stumped, don't feel alone. It's only 2 minutes, and you'll see like 3 times 2 minutes, you know, where it's an interval of things. It's 2 minutes and then maybe 2 minute walk, and then 2 minute run or run walk and 2 minute walk. I should say, I should clarify, run walkers during T pace, I pace, or R pace run walkers, we want you to do one of the other. Either if you're working on your run, we want you to run only, get that heart rate way up there, and only do for T pace, I pace, and R pace, run walkers. I'm only talking to you, run only with those, or walk only because you're really working on your speed for your walking. Okay. So that's run walks. Walks, obviously, you're fast, and runners, same deal. You're just fast for T pace, I pace, R pace for those distances and percentages, whatever. Um, there's another way to calculate that's free where your ability is, where your easy pace, MRP, HRMRP, threshold, all that stuff. And that's like go at what you think that pace is. Okay. It kind of go by feel of what you feel easy pace to be for about 20 minutes, as call it a warm up, and then continue on for about 20 minutes more, and you will get your heart rate ability at that second. Turn your walk after 20 minutes, while continue going, continue running, run, walk, or walking. Start your watch after 20 minutes, continuously moving, and then go 20 minutes more at that same pace. You feel the same pace. Okay. And you'll get your heart rate. I think heart rate is it is more, it's a better indicator because basically when you go up a hill, pace goes out the window. When you go down a hill, a big hill, pace goes out the window. You'll find in the first 6 miles of the LA Marathon, the biggest hills are there. You go up right out of the bat. You go up about a third of a mile, just running to the left of the starting line, which you'll see when we're at Dodger Stadium. You go up this big third of a mile hill, right almost out of the starting line, just a few feet beyond it. There's Third Street, you're going up half a mile. First Street, you're going up half a mile. Temple, you're going up a mile and a third. It kind of like doubles what you just did hill-wise in one solid mile and a third, right? So that uphill needs to go slower because it's about heart rate, as you're about to hear. It's about utilization of different resources for fuel that you use at higher heart rate, that you have a limited threshold, a limited volume of, and lower heart rate where you have a more abundant volume of. And if you keep your heart rate up too high, you hit the wall, you run out of that resource called glycogen, which we'll talk about in a minute. And if you slow it down on those uphills, runners, some of you even walk up those hills or run walk up them. Watch your heart rate, good indicator. Power output is an even better indicator still. And I'm going to turn on the light. No, the light's not going on. Anyway, there we go. Power output, if you have a watch that will give you power output, even better indicator still, because as you go progress through a marathon, your heart rate's going to progress up and up and up and up and up and up and up with dehydration and fatigue. But it will go up strikingly on an uphill if you maintain pace. And then you're depleting that limited reservoir. Got the picture? That is my next lecture.